When we first started sailing, we first got a boat, we thought it would be like 2 years, and it's been 6 now. Are y'all twins?
No.
You look alike.
No.
So what are we fixing to do?
Go on a sailing trip. Yeah, go on a sailing trip.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of things that we've just got accustomed to. I'd like to say the long-term effects of a life on the water. For instance, a while ago I was looking at Kate's hair. She said, I got bugs in my hair. So I was looking through her hair, and it's not lice. It's just little black bugs, and we have them like on the counters and stuff, and in our flour and stuff like that. We're just used to. You know, she washes her stuff. We're gonna clean her room out really good, but I don't know, now it's just kind of normal. It's not that unusual.
That's weird. I didn't know she had bugs in her hair.
It's kind of gross.
That is really gross.
In a different world, it would be very gross. Just little things that you don't think about when you set off to travel like we do. Transportation, like right now we're waiting on this dinghy taxi because we can't take the dinghy to shore because of the break over there, and there's no dinghy dock. And so we are used to getting taxis or dinghying places, hauling groceries, walking, just all kinds of little things.
Ja, bro.
So one thing that we've gotten used to is learning about data and how much data costs, how much a gigabyte costs, how much a movie uses, how much it takes to upload a video on YouTube, how much it takes for Keith to scroll every night before he goes to bed for hours on Reels. And
hey, here's Renee in the morning.
Instagram.
She wakes up, pulls the phone up at 8 o'clock. Who loves me this morning?
That is not true.
That is so true.
I run a business.
She runs
on
a business.
the internet.
And
so
I don't want to say
make
members
sure-
only, or what is it called?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. I don't want to talk about the OnlyFans thing. Had some conversations here. We're not really into the OnlyFans thing. Renee's trying to run that business.
Whatever.
It's making us some serious money, but
Whatever.
once again, I want to say that I'm not approving it, but I am spending the money.
Whatever. A lot of the people watching this have no idea what OnlyFans is. I didn't know, except that I have teenagers.
I didn't know what OnlyFans
It's
is.
some kind of dirty, raunchy behind the scenes.
It's where mothers want to show themselves nude and have an audience. And literally, I've had people reach out to me, several fans, multiples, in the couple of ones or twos, reach out and say, Keith, you need to start an OnlyFans. And I'm still debating that. And there could be a possibility in the future I could have my OnlyFans page.
only.
And I only gotta have one fan, as long as you're paying.
I'm your only fan. I'm your only
she's
fan.
my only fan. I will show you things you've never seen before.
Are you really putting this in the video?
It could. It's good. It's good stuff.
Did you get Wi-Fi?
No, what you gotta get on your phone.
Oh, I thought you didn't have Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi yet.
All right, use my hotspot.
I'm on your hotspot.
So what we usually do is I'll get a local SIM card in my phone, and all the kids will have one in their phone, and then we'll use the hotspot for Keith, for him to have data, because he keeps his T-Mobile card, the American card, in his phone, so we have one phone number that we always have with us, in case we need a, you know, two-party authentication or call somebody or whatever.
Do you have a roast beef?
So another thing I wanted to talk about that we've
In taxi cab confessions. Confessions from a taxi cab.
is the struggle with, after being on the water for 4 years, living like we do, is the struggle for friends, for our kids.
Loneliness. I'm very lonely out
Lonely.
here. I'm so lonely.
No, but really,
For those of you, I'm lonely.
Shut your mouth.
Just saying.
No, that really, that's one of the reasons Anna wanted to leave the boat, was she couldn't make friends that she could keep for a long time, and she got really lonely. And so the boys have each other. They do really good about hanging out together and doing stuff together. And of course, we're all together all the time, so we have each other. But sometimes the kids, especially the girls, they need friends.
They need their friends, especially the older girls.
Yeah.
You know, you get 14, 15, 16 years old, you need to have some teen girls around. It's hard to find for the boys that are athletic. There's a lot of boats out there with teens on there that are very academic and into computers and games and stuff like that. But finding other boats that have real athletes on board and want to be,
They can keep up with our boys.
they can keep up with our boys and girls. It's hard because there's just too many of them out there that are just academic type kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're just into computers and programming and.
Well, and most of them are only doing the boat thing for a year or two.
Yeah, they're biding their time until they get out of there.
Yeah, so that's been probably the biggest struggle, the biggest negative consequence of living like we do, of traveling like we do, is not having that social group that they can lean on, that we can lean on. He and I don't really need a lot of friends.
Yeah,
but,
I'm lonely just to say it.
lonely.
I'm so lonely.
But yeah, so that's just another thing that I was thinking about. That's something we've learned, we've had to live with. It's kind of, one of those
COVID made it hard.
risk versus reward things. It did, and we can either go back to the States and live on land and put our kids in school and they have friends at school and church and all their activities, or we can continue to live like we do and know that that's a small sacrifice that we're going to have to
Hey,
make.
guess what?
We're there.
And here we are.
Target.
This store was definitely a good find. They had lots of things we were familiar with, and that's something that's important to us. While we are trying to live an alternative lifestyle, it's nice to have a taste of home occasionally. It just brings a bit of comfort into the often uncomfortable. Speaking of sacrifice, a lot of people think we're pretty selfish to choose this life for our kids, to not enable them to have a normal childhood. And I can honestly say I sometimes doubt all the choices we've made while parenting. What parent doesn't? I don't know how it's all going to turn out. I don't know the end result of our kids having been raised like this, but I do know that we've grown closer as a family and experienced so much together, and we've seen our kids thrive and find joy and purpose out here. And that's enough reward, in my opinion, to continue the adventure.
I got my Vetus Maxwell shipment in. Like these big old panels here. My engine room soundproofing and fireproofing on those engine hatches is wore out, and all the stuff, all the insulation's coming off of it. So they sent me some new sound insulation and heat insulation. I also got tape for all of that. I got some new exhaust fans. Those exhaust fans I was repairing where the magnets went wrong on them. I got new ones of those. We're gonna get all this stuff installed, and hopefully I'm gonna have a nicer little engine room.
Regulator.
I've had that for
You don't.
too many years, and it's not even worth keeping anymore.
I've just seen them because they're like all coming apart all the time.
There's no aluminum
Yeah.
foil or whatever that tin foil is on this, so I'm gonna pull this off and put a new one on. It's a heat shield and a sound barrier.
So it keeps our bedroom from being
It's so hot.
stifling hot. That's cool. Here we go.
These are heat shields and soundproofing. Vetus Maxwell sent us. And as you can see, all the insulation and the heat shield came off of this. And it's all old and nasty, so I got to make. I'm gonna cut some new ones, and then I'm gonna put them in. Put it right here. So when you order stuff and you have it shipped to foreign countries, always make sure you put ship in transit. Always make sure you have that people put a very low value. You don't want to put 0 because people are not stupid, but put warranty parts, warranty boat parts or something like that when you're shipping it into a foreign country. Have the, and so put the value really low, put ship in transit, and if you can, have somebody at the other end receive that at their house or residence or something like that where it looks like personal items, because personal items of low value normally aren't taxed or anything like that. So just a note to self there. Here, I can't feel, I have no fingernails. Now I need this.
Lined up.
foil tape. It's very, very satisfying. It's very, got so many possibilities of arts and crafts. I don't know. The teacher in me is very excited about little things.
Telling you boys, moving at dinner doesn't get it done anymore. It's this kind of stuff that gets us into the sack. So the nice thing about Vetus, they're all over the world. And I know I'm making a plug for them, but when you're sailing and you're blue water cruising, it's good to be able to get parts anywhere in the world. They have places everywhere. So that makes a big difference.
Isn't that Maxwell Marine the same people that did our...
Vetus owns Maxwell, yeah, that's right.
They did our
Windlass.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the center one.
That is so beautiful. It's like a mattress. You could almost lay down on it.
Feels right, it's tight.
Foil mattress.
It's like tight. I don't know why I like touching it. Alright, we're done.
Alright, let's see if it shuts.
It's like NASA padding. It's like in the space shuttle right there.
It is.
That is.
I'd be mad if it doesn't shut. Look at that. I'm impressed. But then again, I'm always impressed.
It was like taking that dinghy ride in a dinghy taxi, learning patience and the time it takes to drive over there, pick up other people. You know, 6 years ago I'd have been impatient. Let's go. And they got this little 15 horsepower dinghy motor taking in. I'm just happy for the ride now. Happy to relax and let somebody else drive the dinghy and not have to worry about beaching. It's the same with packages. I mean, I'd be stressed out trying to get packages here, trying to get packages there, and now it's like, it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks. You're going to have to deal with customs. You're going to have to deal with trying to get it in duty free and all these kind of things. And that's just part of life out here.
Everything takes about 3 or 4 times as long as it did before. We don't have Amazon same day shipping. We don't have Amazon anything shipping really. Another thing we've gotten used to is repairs and getting things fixed, things that Keith can't fix. Like my computer, it died the other day. This is our backup computer, the one the boys work on. And it took me forever to find an Apple repair shop that actually knew how to work on Apple computers.
It's just the things you learn sailing that you wouldn't, and it's not sailing, it's cruising, it's traveling from one country to another country and the different culture, the different bureaucracies, governments.
Anyway.
That's life on a boat. Life changes, new
word.
Expectations.
Expect changes.
Expect changes. Expect changes. Expect changes. It's a combination between changes and expectations. Expect changes.
I like it.
That's the word.
Dinghy boat, dinghy boat, dinghy boat. Can I get a pickup on Zatara? No, I don't pay attention to all the news and politics of the world as much. It's not so prevalent. Yeah, you do.
I do, because I feel like I'm missing out on the fight. The good fight for freedom. Keep radicals. It doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. There's radicals on both sides.
But did you do that when you were in the States?
I was there. Because I was involved in making money. Like I said in the African video, one thing I've learned is that the poorest people in America are still richer than most of America. I mean richer than most of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
You live in your bubbles and you're struggling financially. You have more money and more wealth than 80% of the world.
I realize it. I realize how naive I was. Now that I've traveled to all these developing countries, third world countries, I get very grateful for my home country and the comforts of home and the things that I took for granted.
Is 2022 year Swahili. Billy.
Na 22.
Oh, that's too much.
Keith is practicing his Swahili with our car driver, our boat driver.
Aja, Billy. Tanto? Nah?
Okay, so I'm topping up. We're getting more data because we used 100 gigs over the last, well, 4 or 5 days. Hey, what is it?
Fly traps. You ever get back into lots of flies?
Another thing of boat life that you just learn to get used to are flies, mosquitoes, just bugs in general. Bugs everywhere. Flying bugs, crawling bugs.
Well, I'm looking for ants. Alright, go in there and order something up. I'm gonna stay out there and flirt with Ruth.
Oh, wonderful. Another thing that I've learned is that Pizza Hut, McDonald's, KFC is everywhere in the world, in every country, on every continent. And even though we don't really eat there when we're in the States, if we go somewhere and we see it, we know what it's gonna taste like, so we try to stop by and eat some junk fast food. Subway was not as great as we thought it was gonna be, but it was still pretty good. The meat is a little bit different in these countries. So tonight is pizza night. Awesome.
What size did you get?
What?
What size did you get?
Size?
Yeah.
Epic. Thank you. Bye. All right, we can go back to the boat now.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're gonna go home to eat some pizza, and I think I'm gonna close this episode out. Thanks again for watching. Next week, Keith, what do we have on the plan for the next few days? Are we gonna go out to Zanzibar?
I think we're gonna at least go out to some anchorages.
At least go out to some anchorages, get away from the city.
Yeah, get away from the city for a few days.
Yeah. So hopefully more sailing videos.
Waiting on our friends from Aquarius to get here,
Oh yeah.
and trying to work out a Tanzania trip to the wildebeest.
Yeah.
And if we don't do any of that, we'll see you guys out there on the water.